What you doing, silly boy? You want to come inside? Come on. I know, your paws are probably cold. Tea time. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Come on, buddy. Guitaro. Come on, kitty, 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 kitty. Come on, buddy. Come on. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Tea time. Come on. That's Triples. Come on, Guitar. Come on, kitty, kitty, kitty. Silly boys. Come on. Piper. Come on, buddy. Nope, not ready to come in. Winter is definitely here. This is my bedroom temperature. This is the temperature right in this area. And this temperature down here is the temperature in this area of the RV. So just checking the temperatures in here. Right now it's about 48, it says, for this area. Up at the top, it's supposedly 61, but it does not feel that way. And in my bedroom, it's 33. I have to close the door off because my kitten, who's unneutered, likes to mark me when I'm in bed sleeping. So that's off limits to him until after he gets neutered and hopefully straightens out. I have my propane heater running to warm it up in here. It was in the 40s throughout the low 40s when I got up this morning, which is actually pretty good because I think outside right now it's about, it says 5 on here, and that's underneath the RV, so it's a little bit protected, so it's probably about 1 or 2 at this point. Doesn't really matter when it's below 0. It's cold. In fact, it's so cold I'm trying to expand a block of coconut coir for my composting toilet. It's been sitting in this bucket for a couple of hours, and normally it would all be saturated and filled up. And I've only gotten pretty much just a handful of coconut coir off of here so far. Piper's in play mode, so he's attacking a plastic bag right now. Earlier, when I had the propane heater on, I thought, oh, I'm going to turn on my ceiling fan and blow some of that heat over here to help warm it up quicker. Well, the initial setting on the fan is a very strong high speed, and it blew out the propane heater, and then I had to clean out the orifice in order to get it working again because it would not turn back on. These are just some of the fun realities of wintertime living. So I have a blanket over my door to block some of the drafts. I also have another blanket that I put down there. I probably need to put another one to block the drafts that come in the door. In fact, it's so cold. That's my soup from dinner last night. And it was still warm, and I didn't want to put it in the fridge because it strains my refrigerator to try to cool off warm things. So I thought, well, I'll just put it down here on this bottom step, which acts like a refrigerant. And so my soup is nice and cold, so I'm just leaving it there for now. Normally all my dishes would already be done and cleaned up, but it's so cold I have to heat water just to wash the dishes. I have to use this black basin put into the sink right now because the water will freeze if it goes down into the gray tank and back up. So I have to wash the dishes and then take it outside and dump it outside. So I'm saving up and doing all my dishes at once. And my crock pot going and making some chicken broth from the bones. I always buy chicken thighs for eating. It's my preferred chicken flavor. But I always buy bone-in chicken thighs with the skins on, and then I'll sometimes cook them with the skins because I do like chicken skin when I can get it nice and crispy like fried chicken. But I'll put the chickens in here. I'll also put the bones in here with a little apple cider vinegar and water, and I'll make bone broth. And that way I can use it for myself and I can use it for my cats. I can't use any bone broth from the store because it always has like salt in it and onion and things that cats shouldn't have. So this way I get a 2-for-1 when I buy my chicken thighs. I can make the broth for myself and for them to give them their food. So I feed my cats a mostly raw diet. I add in a cat supplement into it to complete the nutrition for them. I have to go to work today, so I'm charging up my hand warmers. I have to leave. It's 10 till noon right now. I have to leave at 1:30, so I got about an hour and 40 minutes until I have to leave. So in that time period, I have to eat my lunch, pack my dinner, get dressed, clean up all the dishes, and make sure everything heat-related is ready to go. I have a blanket. Our job is really great because for the holidays, Christmas party, whatever, they always give us gifts and they always pertain to keeping us warm. So a couple years ago, we got the hand warmers. And this year they gave everybody a heated blanket that plugs into the cigarette port, you know, the cigarette lighter port on the buses so that we have a warm blanket. So that's great and will come in handy today since, like I said, the temperature is in the single digits, and I think the highest they're predicting for today is maybe 7 or 8, and I'll be on the bus until probably, if I'm picking them up at 3, probably 7 or 8 tonight. So I'll be sitting on the bus for 4 or 5 hours, and that's going to get cold. Now, mind you, I don't have to stay on the bus that entire time. I can go into the school and sit in the gym or wherever. But I really don't like to sit in gyms because it's loud and echoey and it's very overwhelming and very overstimulating for my brain. And so I honestly prefer to just tough it out in the cold over going into a crowded space. So I'll bring things, usually I'll bring my computer, but right now, because it's so cold, my computer is out of commission because it's old and it probably needs a new battery. But so I can't use it till it warms up, and I haven't been able to thaw it out yet today. So I will normally take my computer and work on the bus while I'm there, but because it's so cold, I'll probably just take a book and just sit and have some downtime and just read. I have blankets and rugs everywhere on the floor to try to help keep it warm. So it doesn't really help, but I end up having to wear shoes to keep me warm when I'm on the RV, and I don't really like to wear shoes inside. But so this vent here, I roll up rugs to block that vent off, and I have a similar situation for the vent under the shower, and that helps to keep drafts from coming in. And then I just try to keep rugs as much as possible on the floors, and that helps a little bit to keep us warm. I do have skirting around the outside of the RV, but when the temperatures get this cold and when the wind is blowing, it doesn't really help much. I am really looking forward to this cold snap going away and warmer weather coming, but it looks like we're going to be having cold temperatures for the next few weeks, although it's not going to be this cold. I think after tomorrow it's supposed to get back up into like the 20s and 30s, so that will be more bearable. I'm hesitant to have this microphone on as I'm talking, but I know if I don't, you won't be able to hear me. But the microphone also picks up all the wind sounds outside and all the tarp blowing and stuff, so I apologize. I try my best to get it out of the video as much as possible, but I know I'm not an expert on technology and using editing tools, so I'm not 100% great about getting those removed yet. So right now I need to get the dishes done and to get some soup made for lunch and get my lunch packed or dinner packed to get ready to go. So I've already heated the water. I did that while I was getting dressed. And so now it's hot. So these chores become extremely tedious when it's this cold out because everything just doesn't want to cooperate. Like I said, the coconut core is just sitting here in a soup. I can't put this pot on the stove to warm up the water because it's plastic and it will melt. I really don't want to dump the contents of this into one of my metal bowls because that'll be a mess cleaning all the coconut core crumbs out of, and I use my bigger pots for cooking soup and things like that, and I don't have a whole lot because I live in an RV. So I'm just going to kind of set this down on the floor a few feet away from the buddy heater, and hopefully that will be enough warmth to warm the water without melting the plastic and getting the coconut core to dissolve into the water. It's not the word I'm looking for, but my brain is escaping me on words. So first thing I'm going to do is empty this water out so I have a clean basin of water. It's disgusting. I hate this time of year. Have I said that yet? The great thing is this type of weather and situation is a great kick in the butt for me to go gung-ho on working on my bus and getting it built out so that next winter I can be in a warmer territory at this time of year. Oh, it's bitterly cold. we're going. I forgot I had a box that I brought some co-op products in, and I had left it sitting outside because I don't really have room for it in here, but it has started to blow off into the field, so I'll have to remember to take that with me when I leave today so that I can take it to the city recycling. Okay. So now with the clean basin, it's time to do the dishes. I don't normally pour water into the sink to wash, but I'm just trying to give them a nice hot pre-rinse to thaw out anything that's frozen on there, because the food particles often get frozen. In my bottle, I fill with, it's mostly water and a little bit of Sal Suds, which is made by Dr. Bronner's. I'm getting ready to make another batch up, so I'm trying to thaw it out because it solidifies again with the cold. It's been under the sink, and normally it's a clear, kind of yellowish liquid, but as you can see, it's frozen right now, and it's not even coming down. I've had it sitting in front of my other heater, but it's not far enough up, so it's not getting warm enough. So I'll probably have to put that in a thing of water so that I can add more in. So, all right, so once I do that, I just scrub everything really good. Even though it'd be nice to have running water in here, I honestly don't mind doing my water in this manner. I did start out with running water, but last winter the water heater was not working, and so I never used it, never thought about it. So when I shut off the water for the cold snap, I completely forgot to drain the water heater, and so the water heater burst. And so now I don't have any running water, because when you put water in the tank, it runs directly into the water heater and directly onto the ground. So kind of defeats the purpose of trying to have a water heater, or trying to use water. So because I'm not going to be living in this forever, I really didn't want to pay to put in a new water heater when I'm just going to be out of this in a year. So I've just been doing it this method, which usually works pretty well. I did talk with my son about possibly putting a shutoff valve into the hot water, leading to the hot water heater, so that they would bypass that and just come straight into the house or the RV. And I may still do that. It might be good practice for when I build the water system in my bus. But for now, I just do it this way. And I don't normally mind. It's more frustrating having to use a basin instead of having it going to the gray water tank and then pumping out the gray water and dumping it. But I do what I can. So. There's that wind again. I know this is probably very controversial. A lot of people say you shouldn't wash your cast iron with soap and water. You should just wipe it out or whatever. But I find it's better to wash it. And there's a guy that I followed on TikTok back in the day that talked about cast iron and how washing is perfectly fine. It does not wash the coating off. All it does is wash off the excess grease and food and all the nastiness, and cleans your skillet. So I followed his method to re-season this cast iron skillet, and ever since then I've been washing it, and it works really good. Keeps things from building up on it, and keeps it working good and being non-stick. So I'll let that dry out on the stove, and then I take a cotton cloth with some beef tallow and I rub it in there just to re-season it and prep it and get it ready for the next time to be used. So while I'm waiting for that to dry out so I can move it and heat up my soup, I'm going to go ahead and pack my dinner for work tonight. And being autistic, I have safe foods, and so I typically eat the same on-the-go meals, except normally I also have strawberries and blueberries to go with my dinner, but I haven't gone to the grocery store yet. That's for tomorrow, so I have no fruit other than my banana for today, so I'll have to do without. Kind of sad about that because I do love my blueberries and strawberries, but do what we can. That's the one thing. There's not a whole lot of space around here, so you're constantly shuffling things. So I'm like, I need to put the soup on, but I got 2 hot pots on here. I do need to get the tea kettle going because I like to make a big thing of hot tea to take with me. Another gift from my company says, be nice to bus driver, it's a long walk home. But this thing is a great insulated cup, and when I was on my route last year, I would make my tea at like 4:30 in the morning, and it would be 8:30 or 9 before I could actually drink it because it would be so hot. So it's really great at keeping your cup insulated and keeping your drink warm, which is nice when you're cold. I don't do a whole lot of processed foods, but convenience when I'm working and don't have access to a stove to cook on. I try to make everything kind of finger foods. So I do pack these nairns. I can't eat gluten or dairy, so I get these gluten-free oat cookies that are from the UK that I discovered when I was traveling in the UK a couple years ago. So they're pretty tasty. And then Aldi has these pure and simple peanut butter cookie. They're kind of like the Larabar things, but they've only got like 4 or 5 ingredients in them. And it's like dates, peanuts. I can't even read that. Dates, peanuts, water, and sea salt. So fairly decent food. So, and I get those at Aldi. I think I said that. And then I buy the ham from Aldi that is preservative free, and that will be my main course, along with olives. I love olives, and again, Aldi stuffed garlic olives. And it's funny because this is my work lunch or work dinner. But when I'm at home, I would not eat these things like I do at work. So it's basically just on the days, 2 or 3 days a week that I work, that I eat these. So when I'm at home, I kind of forget the olives exist. I will eat ham, but I typically will heat it up in the skillet, kind of fry it up a little bit, warm it up. And then the ham, I just slice it into pieces that I can just kind of turn into finger foods and eat. And the last thing I pack is my own version of a peanut butter cup. So, but it has very little sugar in it. And these were based on 2 separate fat bomb recipes from some keto diet. I tried a keto diet a few years ago just to see what it'd be like. As an herbalist, if I'm suggesting diets to people, I like to kind of know what they're like before I expect other people to follow them. So I failed spectacularly with keto because it just didn't work for my body. But I found some good things in there, like the fat bombs. So the bottom layer is, if I can remember it all, almond butter, cocoa butter, hemp seeds, and then this furikake mix, I can't remember, but it's basically seaweed and sesame seeds, and then I also put more sesame seeds in there, and then also collagen peptides, and then I melt the cocoa butter, and then I mix all that together, and I add in a dropper full of stevia extract, which is about 30 drops, and then about a half to a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then you pour those in the bottom. And then I sprinkle cacao nibs on that, and I put them in the fridge. And I put them in these little silicone cupcake molds. Put them in the fridge to chill for about an hour. And then I melt some coconut butter and then coconut oil, and then a cup of Pashka unsweetened cacao chips. So it's just 100% cacao. There's no sweetener at all in it. And so I melt those in there. And then after all that's melted, I add in another dropper full of stevia, 30 drops, and then another half teaspoon of vanilla and a teaspoon of maple syrup. And then that makes, I'm going to say 10 days worth of what I call my treats. And I have one after each meal, so 3 a day. So 3 times 10, is that right? I'm trying to do the math. I'm trying to remember how many I have. Something like that. But so very little sugar throughout the whole through the whole recipe. So through each serving has very, very little sugar in it. So that's my lunch. Plus I have 1 banana left because again it's time to go to the grocery store, and this one is just about too ripe. I do have some more bananas over here that are super ripe that I probably will end up making into some caramelized banana bread. So that's again a no sugar added recipe. Basically you put the bananas in the oven and you caramelize them, and then you mash them up and you add it with all your other ingredients, and the sweetness from the caramelized bananas makes it a sweet enough type of banana bread that's healthier for you than eating that type of stuff with a bunch of sugar. Okay, so that's my lunch packed for today. Sometimes I'll also include a thermos of water, but with it being so cold, I'll be just drinking my tea, and that'll be all I drink while I'm on the bus. So I'm going to go ahead and get that water started. To fill my water up, I have these 2 water coolers I showed in my last video. the water cooler bottles that I actually found in a dumpster a couple years ago. Had no use for them at the time, but I thought, you know what, they might come in handy someday, and I was correct. I use them to fill my water every day. Not every day I have to fill them, but every 3 to 4 days, typically I have to refill them. I have 2 4-gallons, so that's 8 gallons. I would say I probably go through about 32 gallons in a week. Okay, it's a bit hot. The downside to having an RV fridge in this type of weather is it struggles to stay cold, which seems kind of backwards. You'd think it'd have harder time keeping hot, cold in the summertime, but it has more trouble keeping cold in the wintertime because of the cold weather. Something reacts with it. So that's frozen. So I will not be able to use that. Let's see if this is frozen too. Got a little too cold on my step down there, I guess. Let's see what we can do. Didn't think it would get that cold. This one's a little more slushy, so I might have better luck with it. And I don't like to use all that fat. I usually kind of skim off the fat or mix it in throughout. So I'm going to put it over in the other jar for now. I don't mind having the fat. I like fat, but I just don't want it all in one serving. I think this chicken recipe originally came from a keto diet recipe book as well. I do like a lot of the keto recipes, and also my favorite no sugar diet is Diane Filippo. I can't remember how to say her last name. But anyway, she's got 21-day sugar detox, and she's got like 3 different cookbooks out now, which also outlines the whole 21-day of eating no sugar. And I love her recipes just because they're so flavorful, and the flavor combinations that she creates are insane and unexpected. So I just really enjoy the recipes she offers in those books. So even though I'm not strictly those types of diets anymore, I do still like the offerings of them. I guess maybe if I put this in the fridge now, it'll help to cool the fridge down a little bit. Just trying to get enough soup out for lunch. Okay. Should be enough, hopefully. Oh, I'm glad those didn't shatter because they were pretty full. Okay, so it's almost time for me to go to work, so I am going to finish up my soup, or eat my soup, and go start up my car and warm it up, and then I've got to head out to work for the day. So hopefully I will be a little bit better at being more regular with my posting. I was trying to do a video once a week, but this colder weather, and also with my computer not working well in the cold weather, it makes it really hard to edit the videos and everything. So it might be a while before I'm actually even able to get this out.